So today's session basically will be understanding about the simple Flask application. Okay, we'll understand what is a Flask application, and before going to Flask application, I'll tell you what are the different kinds of applications which can be developed. Okay, so before going to Flask application, whenever we have a project, so the project can be just without a web application, it's just a desktop application. It can be a desktop application, or else it can be a web application. There are two type of things. One is a desktop application, other one is a web application. So when we say web application, then this web application has to be deployed somewhere, that is using some server. Okay, there has to be server, mean to say it can work from the remote location. It can work from the remote location. This is a web application. But when we say desktop application, it has to be installed in your desktop and does not require any internet connection. Okay, this is not a remote connection, just for a local host, just for your local machine. This is a desktop application so that you can install on your machines and you can run on it. But if you want to work, if you want to make your application to work remotely, that is, for example, my application is there somewhere in India, okay, and someone from US want to access this application. Okay, this is India and this is US. Okay, so now if you want to access my application sitting in US, you can just have the connectivity through the server. Okay, there will be a server in India. To this server, whatever application is there, you can get the access to it. Okay, so this is called as web application. Basically, web application mean to say that accessing from the remote location, right? That is, we can access through the net or access to the internet or access to the website. Okay, so when we start doing any application, when I say any web application, there are different architecture depending upon the programming language. Okay, so depending upon the programming language, we have different web application. For example, let me say that you're working on .NET kind of application. We have something called as MVC architecture. Okay, and let me say that you're working on something called as PHP. Okay, then we have something called as Laravel framework to develop a web application. Okay, then we say that we're working on Python. If you're working on Python, then to develop a web application, we have some framework which is called as Flask, or else we can also use something called as Django. Okay, so Django and Flask are the two different web architectures where we can work on the website or we can create a web applications. So when you're working on Python, either you can use Flask or Django. Is it only two, or if we have any other else? Yes, we have many more things also to work on the frameworks. It's always there. But either you can use Flask or Django. The most popular is Django and Flask. Okay, if you're working on PHP, the same framework can be something like Laravel. Working on the .NET application, that is C#, then we call it as MVC. That is, to develop a web application. I repeat, to develop a web application, we can use any one of the frameworks. Depending upon the programming language, you use a framework. Okay, that is, if you are working on Python, it is Flask and Django. So if you ask me what is this Flask and what is Django, I said it is a framework. Okay, Flask or a Django is a framework where we work on the web application. We work on developing a web application. Why do we require web application? Let me say that you have developed a machine learning model. Let me say that you have developed a machine learning model. I say it is ML model. Okay, in this ML model, when you develop a machine learning model and you run in your Jupyter notebook, if you run your machine learning model in your Jupyter notebook, it is visible only when you run the Jupyter notebook. And there is no good UI. There is no good user interface. You can just run and you get the output. But if you want the code, if you want your machine learning model to be visible for unknown user, that is the person who don't know anything about machine learning, how can he run the code? He requires some UI, right? He requires some user interface. He requires some website. It must have something like enter the salary, enter the age, and predict the salary. I mean, enter the salary, enter the gender, predict the salary, something like that. So you want some interface so that the party or else the end user must understand your application. If you want your end user to understand your application, okay, that is, I mean, not you to understand, but at least to work on your application, you must have some interface. That is, it has to be a kind of web application. So you have built a machine learning model. You integrate your machine learning model to this web application so that it is visible for your front end user, okay, or for the end user. This we call it as web app. Whatever the machine learning model you built, that can be deployed using some architecture called as Flask, or it can be Django. It is not machine learning application. You can also do some websites. You can also do some web applications using Flask and Django. So our intention today would be to learn a simple application, how to do an application in Flask so that we can run our project in web. Okay, that is, we can run our project in browser. Our intention is to develop a simple calculator application so that we can run it on the browser. That is what we'll be doing now. Okay, so we must understand what are the things to understand now. There are the things which need to understand now is what is Flask. We got to know Flask is a framework. Okay, we can call it as a framework, or we call it as an architecture. Okay, so Flask, what is Flask? We got to know what is Flask. It is a framework, it is an architecture basically used for Python programming. Basically we use this for Python programming. So now this is question number one. Now the question number two, how does Flask would be? Okay, whenever we say the Flask application, okay, for everything there will be a folder structure. There are different folder structure. For example, okay, when there's a folder structure, the design files must be there in one folder. The CSS, the cascading style sheets must be there in one more folder. The Python files must be there in one more folder. Like this, each and every folder will be having different files. That is the architecture. This is how the Flask architecture is defined. Now, when we say any web application, the web application will be having three layers. The three layers. What are the three layers? The three layers are the front end, the middle layer, the back end. Okay. When I say front end, it is nothing but your HTML files. Okay. It is nothing but HTML files combined with CSS for beautiful design. And the middle level, okay, the middle layer, which is nothing but your Python file, is an extension of .py, and the backend layer, which is nothing but your SQL. You take any web application in the world, there will be three layers. This we call it as a three-tier architecture, or we also call it as entire architecture. You take any web application, it will be three architecture. That is HTML and CSS, which comes to the front end. Front end means to say what is visible for the browser. For the front end user, when you run this application, something like www.calculator.com, okay, you'll be getting some interface, no, that is called as front end. How this front end is designed? This is designed using your HTML. This is designed using HTML. So when I click submit, some operations are happening, right? The control will be given back to the middle layer. So the operations will be happening from the middle layer. Once the control is taken from the middle layer, if there is some data which is stored, you want to interact some data, something like username, password, which is stored in the database, then this .py, the middle layer will give a control to database. This database inversely give the control back to py. The py will redirect back to the HTML page. This is how the process happens in any application. Okay, now similarly in the Flask also, okay, we have three layers. One is the design layer, which is HTML, the middle layer is a Python file, and the backend layer is SQL. Okay, so for this particular example, we will not bother about the SQL. We just try to see how to connect the HTML to .py file, so that it will be clear for you to understand how an application would look in Flask, or how the web application would actually look. Okay, so let us try to understand the Flask architecture. When we say we are working on the Flask architecture, the most important thing, as I told you, is the folder structure. Okay, what do you mean by folder structure? The Flask always says that any designs, okay, any HTML files must be there inside the templates folder. Okay, any HTML files. Let me say that you have something like HTML, the login.html, calculator.html. All the HTML files must be there inside the folder, which is called as templates. Okay, then you have some CSS. What do you mean by CSS? CSS mean to say you have something like login.html. The login.html needs some color. Okay, the background color. The button size has to be so much. Okay, and the table size has to be so much. The text box has to be something like this. So to give some designs, to these HTML files, we have something called as CSS. All the CSS files must be there inside a folder called as static. Any supporting file, if you want in other terms, any supporting file for these templates will be there in a folder called as static. So we have templates folder, we have static folder, then we have py files. .py files will be outside. Mean to say that any py file, for example, you have some file called as calculator.py, we call it as calc.py, or login.py. All these files will be there outside the folder, which is outside the templates folder and outside the static folder. This is how the architecture is defined in a Flask application. So there are any other folders apart from this? Yes, we have a lot of other folders. Depending upon the complexity of the Flask architecture, it is there. But for any simple application to understand, okay, we can just say that all the design files will be there in template folder, and the supporting files for the design, which is called as a CSS file, will be there in the static folder. And any Python files will be there in a folder called as calculator, or it can be a folder called as login. Okay, this is what you understand. I mean, it can be anything for that matter. So when we run the application, we'll be running this calculator.py. This calculator.py internally, okay, the calculator.py internally will run this templates folder. Templates in that inside templates folder. In templates folder, there are multiple files. Depending upon what you have mentioned in calculator.py, that particular file will be run in the backend. This is how exactly the application will be running in the Flask. Now I'll be showing you with practicals. With practicals, a simple calculator application, how it is designed and how it will be run in the Flask application. For this, I'll be using an IDE which is called as PyCharm. Okay, the IDE what we use is called as PyCharm. Either you can use Visual Studio also, or there are a lot of other IDEs, but I'm used to work with PyCharm. We have something called as PyCharm Community Edition, which is free. You can just download that and you can run this particular application. So this is a Python, this is a PyCharm IDE. What we have is a community version of PyCharm. I have uploaded a folder, I have uploaded a project by name Flash Demo. Okay, so if you want to know how to upload a project, you can just go here, file, and you can say open the project. I'll be giving you the link, okay, of this particular project, so you can download and you can start running this particular project. Fine. So if you want, I have a file, I have a folder by name Flash Demo. I just have a Flash Demo here. I just click on that and say okay. So automatically it appears something like this. Okay, you can just unzip the folder because I'll be setting the zip folder. You can just unlock it and you can start working. So once when you upload this Flash Demo project, okay, once when you upload the Flash Demo project, the architecture of the folders, I mean the folder architecture will be something like this. There is some folder called as static. As I told you, the static will be always having the CSS. Inside statics is something called as CSS. The CSS is the supporting file for HTML. There's one more folder called templates. This templates is having the design files, index.html, results.html. These are the design files what we can see. Okay, so index.html, result.html are the design files. For the supporting design files, we have some CSS, which is main.css and style.css, and there is one Python file called as app.py. Okay, this app.py is a Python file which is basically having the Python code to link front end and to link the particular the particular library, whatever the operation you are doing. I'll show you the code so that you'll clearly understand how it looks. Let me take the first app.py file. I'll take this app.py. In app.py, you are having something like from Flask, import Flask, render template, request, and JSONify. This is the libraries what I'm importing. Okay, the Flask, the render template, and the request and the JSONify. These are the libraries what I'm importing. Then I'm creating the Flask application. If I'm creating the Flask application, you need to create an object of Flask. This is nothing but creating an object of Flask. I say Flask _name. If you ask me why are you doing like this, is a syntax. It says that if you want to create a Flask object, this is how it has to be done. And I'm giving the name of the object. The object name is app. Okay, I'm giving an object name which is called as app. Okay, then I'm trying to start running my application. I'll just run the application first. Later I'll come back and explain the code how it has been linked. Let me run the application. You can just go here and say run. Okay, run app. I'll just say run app. Okay, so the Flask will be running in the backend, and if it says the Flask not install or something, you can just use pip install Flask and install the necessary libraries. Okay, and one more important thing here is it says interpreter not configured. Okay, if you want to configure the environment, you can just say configure Python interpreter. Click on this. It will give an option like Anaconda framework. Okay, it will give you Python 3.8 interpreter. Just select that. Okay, if you have installed Anaconda, it is fine. If you have not installed Anaconda, it will ask you, okay, give me the necessary libraries where Python is installed. You can link that. But people who install Anaconda directly, if you can go click on this configure Python interpreter, you'll be getting an option called as Anaconda. Click on one of the interpreter, automatically it will be selected. Okay, so I ran this application. Once when I ran this application, it shows something like this: HTTP 127.0.0.1 is 5000. It is running in the local host. The local host port is 127.0.0.1. Okay, and it's opening the port 5000. Always the Flask application will open in the port 5000. I'll just click on this. Automatically, you'll be getting the UI. This is a UI what we have generated. Okay, now if you ask me which is this UI, where are we getting this particular UI, that we need to understand, right? So we'll understand where are we getting this UI. So what I'll do now is I'll show you where is that UI. Okay, here we go here and we check for index.html. Okay, we go for index.html file here. Okay, in the index.html, if you can see, I have written a code. Okay, the code respectively mean to say that the block head, the title is calculator. Okay, link relation is equal to style sheet. Okay, so if you ask me like where are you giving this relation is equal to style sheet and all such things, it means to say that I need some CSS, no? I need some CSS. I told you I require some CSS. If you require some CSS, then what happens is you must give a relation as style sheet, and it will ask you, okay, so where is the reference? It says the reference is equal to URL for static. Okay, the URL for static, what we have here. Okay, the static is there here. Then file name is equal to CSS/style.css. Okay, so it says CSS/style.css, as simple as that. Okay, so it will go to here, it will give the necessary style sheets wherever necessary. Okay, and the simple I'm writing a HTML code. I mean, I've written the HTML code. Let's not bother about how to write the HTML codes and all, because that is not our concern here. HTML codes, we can make a beautiful HTML files if you know designing, but as a Python developers, okay, it is not completely our responsibility to worry about HTML files, because we have a front-end developers to do that. Okay, so let's not worry. I have written a simple code here. I say something like class content, then I have written class is equal to form. This is very important. This we need to understand. When I say div mean to say that you creating a division. I'm creating one block. This block is something with respect to content block. Okay, inside there is one more block called as form. When I say form, I want you to understand, when I say div class is equal to form, mean to say that you can do some action in the backend. I repeat, okay, when I say div class is equal to form, we can do some action in the backend. Mean to say, if there is some action which has been taken for this particular HTML file, which file? Index.html file. If there is some action which has been taken, then I say, as soon as some action mean to say what? Some button press. Something like enter the value 1. Here, I'll go back here and I say, see, let me go to an example here. Okay, where is it? I'll just run the application. I click on this. Okay, you can see, I'll say calculate. When I press, this is an action. When I press calculate, automatically the control will go back and say, oh, this person has did some action and is looking for something called /math. What is this /math? When I say /math, you need to understand, it will go to the function called as math. Where will we write the functions? In Python file, right? There is it, app.py. I'll go here and search for math. See, here also at app.root, this application's root, when someone says /math, I must execute this function. Which function? Math operation function. That's what it is. Okay, math operation function. That's what we are writing here, reading here. We say when some actions takes place, something like /math, automatically give a control to something known as /math in the backend also. Where is it? App.py. Where is math? Here is the math. What is the operation? Here I have written a function called as math_operation. You do that. Automatically when you say /math, the control come here, it executes this math operation function. Now, depending upon the user's request, okay, is a post. Post mean to say that someone has given some request from the front end. HTML, some request has came, it becomes a post request here. I want you to understand. If the request.method is equal to post, mean to say that when someone is sending some request to me, what has to be done? I'll request the form to say, boss, what is that operation? I'll ask him, what is that operation? Okay, is that operation? What is the operation? I'll give the operation here as the value as add. When the user press the value as add, and see, this is a select option. I want you to understand, this is the operation. Okay, there I can select subtraction, multiplication, division, addition, or whatever it is. Okay, here I'm selecting the ID is equal to operation, depending upon the value. If the value given is add, then in the backend, I'll send this. This is index.html. When I click on submit, it will go to math. It will take add along with that. Then in app.py, it will check. Okay, it requests the form operation is add. It checks. Oh, then I'll put in a variable. Operation is add. If it is add, then add num1 plus num2. If you ask me, where is it num1 plus num2 is coming? See your index. No, in index again you can see here you have something like input type is equal to text, name is equal to num1, ID is equal to num1. Where is it? You can just see here. This is num1. Okay, if you can see the inspect element. And I'll show you here. It will be given with the details. Okay, let us go in details. Let me check for this. Okay, see here it says input type is equal to text. Yes. What is name? Name is equal to num1, ID is equal to num1. So the num1 mean to say whatever value entering here, that is stored in num1. Oh, that is stored in num1 here. Then the app.py will look for this num1. It says Okay, request the form, whatever the value is present in num1, I'll give in a variable called as num1 here. Whatever the value present in text box by name num2, give that to num2. Then I'll add that num1 plus num2 and I'll give back the result to R. So next what I'll do, then I'll add sum of string of num1. Okay, I'm concatenating because it is a number. I'm concatenating this. Then I'll put it to a result. After that, what I'll do? After that, what I'll do is I'll say return back my control to results.html and give this result. What is the result? The result is the sum of two numbers is. It will do and it will give this result back to results.html. I'm redirecting my page. I want you to understand. I'm redirecting my page to results.html. Let us go to results.html now. What happens? Results.html, it will say whatever someone gives me by result, I'll catch it here. That is, this index.html, I mean, this python.app.py resulting something, no, I'm ready to catch. The name is result. How do you catch? I'm written inside double quotes. I mean, double flower brackets. So whatever he pass, I will display as it is. So what is he displaying? What is he passing? He passes something like the difference of number 1 and number 2 is so and so. The number addition of the sum of number 1 and number 2 so and so. It is a result. You will pass that. I will display as it is. That is what the result will say. Now let us run this and understand. And one more important thing here is, okay, Vinay, you just ran this right? You just ran this app. Automatically, how does this index.html page came? Because you can see here, you can check here in app.py, there is something called index at app.root slash. This slash means to say index page. This index page automatically gives the control to index.html. Whatever the first control whenever I run this application will be given to this slash, given to this index. That is, the home underscore page function will be running. This function can be anything. This function name can be anything. But what the Flask application will be looking is for this slash, backward slash. Mean to say that this is the index page. The first page which will be running is index.html. So as soon as I run this page, I'll show you. As soon as I run this page, okay, the index.html will be taking the control. Okay, as soon as I run this index.html will be taking the control. So in the backend, index.html is ran because slash mean to say give control index.html. I click on index.html. Now it is there on the server. Now the page is also index.html itself. I'll select the operation and I'll give a value 1. I'll give a value 3. Then till now there is no action. When I click calculate, there is some form action. This form action will redirect our page to /math. Now I'll just click calculate. See, automatically the sum of 1 and 3 is 4. How are you getting it? I told you the form action automatically when I pressed some action, there is some post action there. Okay, and the particular function, the root is /math. It gives the control here. It takes the operation. It returns back the result to result.html. This is the overall application, how exactly the Flask will be running. This is a simple application. The simple application where how can we run with the Flask. There is something like via Postman, how can we run? This is API. Okay, it's something like API. We can just use this application. You can just use this function as an API also. We'll come to this later. Okay, but provided for the simple Flask application, we can run something like this. As we know, we have 3 layers. One is the static, which is having the CSS, the templates, which is having HTML, and the app.py to run the Python files. These are 3 different layers, and this is how actually we run the Flask application.